Well, thank you for tuning in yet again, viewers. My name is still Daniel Hapney, and this is The Real Story. Tonight I was thinking of a news thing, just a quick one for you, and it's about news. And did you get the news? That would be my question. Normally I ask people like, do you follow the money? You know, have you heard? Do you ever consider? Have you considered thinking for yourself? Do you absorb all the spoon-fed media garbage, the lies? Yes, no, maybe? So what I brought for you anyway is a bunch of news, maybe even some clips, just to, you know, keep you entertained. And of course, like every show, as a good truther would, I've got a little bit of 9/11 Zen for you. Hope you enjoy it. So here we go. The funny stuff. First off, news this week, just so you know what week we're dealing with, the Bilderberg started this Thursday. I know for 30 years, for 40 years, people said, oh, it's a conspiracy. There's no Bilderberg. There's no globalist, you know, people getting together trying to set the agenda of the world, making money off, you know, enslaving people. Couldn't be. Well, now the mainstream media is actually covering it, yeah. But when you listen to Glenn Beck or anybody, they say, oh, well, they're probably doing something good. Yeah, the last time I saw Rockefeller get together with people, he did something good, right? Yeah. So, what do we have? We'll start off with, Channel 6. Here I am at home, like you, and I got one of those Providence stations. I believe it's Channel 6. They cover Providence and Fall River, Massachusetts. And what do they tell me? But they're practicing for improvised explosive devices down in Fall River. And they brought a bunch of community, you know, first responders there. And why I thought it was important, and I'd bring it to you as news, don't believe me, here's from their website or whatever. I actually saw it, but I couldn't get the clip for you. Sorry. But what I thought was important is they're putting in the people's minds, you're going to be attacked soon by IEDs. How do you handle them? What do you do? This is kind of like the MIAC report where they told, you know, American law enforcement, you better watch out for terrorists. Domestic terrorists, like veterans, like Christians, like homeschoolers, like Ron Paul supporters. Yeah, people that want to end the Fed. But I thought that was interesting. So once again, Channel 6, a local TV station where I live, is telling us what? That we're training first responders for IEDs. Is Al-Qaeda under my pillow? Is that what they're trying to make me believe? We'll get into it at the end, but I noticed with the news that a lot of it, of the media news, it's keep your fear, keep your fear. Oh, there's all these things you got to be upset about, you know? Maybe that way they keep you distracted. But here's some other news. Here we go. U.S. Supreme Court. You'll love this one. Don't believe me. You got to, you know, look it up for yourself. But the court ruled that when questioned by police, citizens waive their right to remain silent unless they actually say they wish to remain silent. So you can't be silent and have a right to be silent. You have to say, I'm going to exercise my right to be silent. It's good that you exercise your rights, by the way. I recommend you exercise your First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment. Let's go with it. Fourth, keep going. Fifth, don't stop. Even your 10th Amendment. Oh, homework? Why don't you read the Constitution? At least read the Bill of Rights. Read those 10, get a good idea, maybe come on the show, and we can go over your facts with my facts. I want to throw that out to a viewer who likes to check facts, which is good. Here we go. Here's one for you. This goes with the ClimateGate piece, okay? You'll love this. This is NASA. Here we go. ClimateGate. NASA continues to, ClimateGate continues to grow as NASA is taken to court over falsified data. Yeah, we used to have a program that went out into space, and now what do? They evidently give us false data in the formula for predicting global warming. Geez, I wonder if they're working with Al Gore and Goldman Sachs. They are charged with doubling the real numbers. And yet politicians continue to push cap and trade, which, aren't you happy they renamed? What did they rename it to? The American Power Act? Yeah. Okay. Why? Because they have nothing to do with climate. See, the interesting thing, it's kind of like this BP thing. We'll go into that too. How a lot of coincidences, but gee, now they can help push their, oh, well, we need more taxes to clean up the Gulf. Gets interesting. Here's Los Angeles County. Don't believe me. Check it out for yourself, okay? This is from the PR Newswire. LA County supervisors caught on videotape attending secret meetings in Washington, D.C. to obtain federal funds to bail out the city government. As money flows from the bankrupt federal government into the bankrupt cities and states, inflation and control come with it. Yeah, inflation. I've heard of that word. And control. Let me see if I remember words I was told as a youth. Anything we subsidize, we shall control. Now that's a statement, so I'll ask you, anything you subsidize, do you want control? Maybe you're not different than most. Okay, here we go. This is a great thing. Good news for you. Congressman Ron Paul has introduced 2 bills. That's right. How many? 2 bills, okay, to soften the blow of Obamacare. which, by the way, is unconstitutional because you can't make me buy something. Okay, H.R. 4995 would allow people not to buy insurance if they don't want it. How American! That gets pretty good. H.R. 544 would provide a tax credit for all health care bills. Remember how, if you do your own taxes, or someone who's a tax accountant, they'll tell you, well, it's got to exceed 7.5%, right? It also encourages the sale of insurance across state lines, thereby increasing competition. Something Massachusetts may want to consider embracing. Would you like more competition? Do you think things are better with competition? Isn't that one of the things that made this country great? As you watch the government take over businesses? Gets good. Anyway, here it is. You'll love this. For all you global warming, I want to say, they call them global warming deniers, but we're going to have to come up with a term for people that think there's global warming and that carbon dioxide's the cause of it, because here's the United States Navy. Show them the picture of the sub. Here we go. U.S. Navy records show that the Arctic ice volume has increased 25% in the last 2 years, completely debunking the global warming myth. Mainstream media has ignored this finding, but you don't have to because you watch the real story. Check your facts. Do your own due diligence. Follow the money. Yeah. So who's going to be handling the carbon credit, carbon credit exchange? Could that be Goldman Sachs? Excuse me. Yeah. So anyway, here we go. Check this out. This is once again Congressman Ron Paul says that people high in the Federal Reserve are worried about the growing public awareness that the banking cartel controls the federal government. That's pretty good. That was off InfoWars, in case you were wondering. Okay? Well, here's a little piece I want you to see. We had the Mexican president come to the United States, and he told us you should take away your citizens' right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. Take away those assault weapons, or, you should, control your guns. Your guns are getting to us. He doesn't say that all these drug people down there in his own country, where his people can't have guns, have automatic weapons. Well, gee, you don't buy those at the corner, gun store. Those come from our military. Yeah, so you ask yourself, where do these criminal guys get their automatic weapons? Rather interesting. But listen, this is a U.S. congressman, okay, and he's going over, this is McClintock from California, and he's going over, maybe the Mexican guy should go back to his own failed country, okay, and we should stop being the steam valve, or I want to say the safety valve, to get his criminals out, because he's got such a lousy country. When I say lousy, they're so rich in natural resources, they have more billionaires than the United States, and guess what about Mexico? They also have tons more poverty. So here's someone rebutting their Mexican president who spoke before a joint house of, Congress and Senate, who got standing ovations when they wanted to take away the Second Amendment from you and your grandchildren.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to take strong exception to the speech by the President of Mexico here in this chamber today. The Mexican government has made it very clear for many years that it holds American sovereignty in contempt, and President Calderon's behavior as a guest of the Congress today confirms and underscores this attitude. It is highly inappropriate for the President of Mexico to lecture Americans on American immigration law, just as it would be for Americans to lecture Mexico on its own laws. It is obvious that President Calderon does not understand the nature of America or the purpose of our immigration law. Unlike Mexico's immigration law, which is brutally exclusionary, the purpose of America's law is not to keep people out. It is to assure that as people come to the United States, they do so with the intention of becoming Americans and of raising their children as Americans. Unlike Mexico, our nation embraces legal immigration, and what makes that possible is assimilation. A century ago, President Teddy Roosevelt put it this way. He said, quote, "In the first place, we should insist that if the immigrant who comes here in good faith becomes an American, assimilates himself to us, he shall be treated on an exact equality with everyone else. For it is an outrage to discriminate against any such man because of creed or birthplace or origin. But this is predicated upon this person's becoming in every facet an American and nothing but an American. There can be no divided allegiance here.